Welcome to Convergence Healing with Peter Bedard, where we empower you to heal your pain on every level of your being, body, mind, spirit. Our show is about sharing solutions for creating the life you want. We invite you to stand up and choose a life of health, happiness, and joy. And we're here to show you how. This is Convergence Healing.
Hey everybody, welcome to Convergence Healing with Peter Bedard. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. You know, I really am passionate about this show and bringing you guests that are just amazing people. The other day, last minute, one of my guests wasn't able to come in for our recording time, and I was actually doing some healing work for myself. I've been going through a little bit of a rough patch. And I said, okay, I'm not going to stress about this. I only have 2 days to find a guest. And for my first slot of the day, and I just said, all right, I'm leaving it to the universe. And I walked into the wellness center that I'm working at, and the gentleman that was there says, hey, I want you to meet so-and-so, just literally out of the blue. What he was really doing is he'd been so busy the whole day that he was buying himself time to have lunch because he didn't stop to eat lunch. Now, how typical is that, right? You're in a holistic healing office of practitioners who are all about getting you to live better and eat healthier and do that type of stuff. And this guy's working him so hard that he didn't take a break for lunch. So I thought there was a little irony in that, but he's amazing and he's doing really good work. He's my dear friend Jeff, who's actually been on the show previously. You could watch one of his episodes. Jeff does a bunch of nutritional work with supplements. And anyway, Jeff introduced me to a lovely woman named Christina Lipinski, and I just did a session, a little 10-minute introductory session with her, and I said, hey, why don't you come on my show? So boom, Christina's sitting with us today. She's going to be talking about some energy work and about this wonderful healing device that she actually uses for her clients. But before we do that, I always like to start with a quote. I actually go online and I look for, I love quotes. I find quotes so inspirational. Quotes have actually changed my life. There's a quote that I love that I'll throw out there because it's really short. It's by Rumi. And Rumi said, the cure for the pain is in the pain. Now, that means you can't run from it. That means you can't hide it. That means you can't shove it down. You have to actually go to the pain and in a way ask it what it needs to heal. So that quote really affected me very deeply. It really summed up the work that I do as a healer. But I always go online and I wanted to find a quote that resonated with me with today's guest. And I found a quote as I was doing my research. And it's a very simple little quote. It's actually, I couldn't find who it was attributed to. So if you know, send me a message. So the quote is, healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls our lives. Isn't that interesting? Because I think a lot of us are just constantly trying to forget or remove or act as if that thing never happened. And that could be powerful to a certain extent. But when we can accept something and embrace it, when we can actually sit with that thing that was either a spiritual damage, like a broken heart or an abuse, or a physical damage, that's something like a broken leg or a particular disease state or something like that, or even a mental damage where your brain is just obsessed about something. When we can no longer sort of ignore that thing instead of hiding it, right? Instead of acting like it doesn't exist or it never existed, actually coming to a point where we not only overcome it, but we integrate it. So we take that thing that was hurting and we bring it into our world, into our life. We embrace it. We love it. We let it be and heal it. And it becomes something that identifies us. It becomes a beautiful scar in a way, a beautiful scar that, that scar that shows you lived and you loved deeply. And it no longer controls who you are. It no longer becomes the thing that you identify yourself by. And to me, that's really true healing, right? Somebody slammed me into the back of a semi-truck. I don't know if you knew that story, Christina,
not,
right?
no.
And I died. And that story no longer defines me as who I am. It is part of my life. It's something that I've embraced in my life. It's something that, the damage that was done with my body and my mind and my spirit, that brokenness that happened to me, it's something that's part of who I am, but it no longer controls and limits me. And that's how I knew I had really healed. Isn't that interesting?
That's special. Oh my gosh, I had no idea.
Well, there you go. So Christina here, she's lovely, and we're practical strangers because we only met that one time. And I really loved her energy, and I really liked who she is.
And likewise.
Oh, well, thank you. So let me tell you a little bit about Christina. Christina is a Reiki master certified in the Usui?
Yeah, you see.
Usui
Yeah.
Reiki system. I got it right. All right. And she's been in practice in 2014, which is pretty awesome because you have a more than a decade under your belt.
Yes, 2004.
2004. I'm sorry. Yeah,
that's okay.
14.
I know what you
2004. There we go. Everybody, you could assume that I do. Yeah, there we go. She's a certified integrated energy therapist, and she works with people and animals. I love that. And, Christina, I have an event that I do, a fundraiser for rescue animals in Northeast LA. And we have people come out and do healings and psychic readings for a love donation. And if you're interested, I do this 3 times a year. It's a volunteer thing. We make no money on it. All the money goes to the furry friends.
That sounds great.
All right. Awesome. Well, good. Look, I just recruited somebody. From a young age, Christina had a passion for healing people and animals. She had a pure intent to help all who are seeking health and happiness. And she also gives intuitive readings and is certified as an angel therapy practitioner by the beloved Doreen Virtue. And I think that's a great little segue into this work that you do. It's really energy work. And even I get a little tripped up. I've been in this world for decades now. And people ask me, what is energy healing? And my answer is always different because it depends where I am, what I'm doing, what I've discovered. And it is a science. It's a soft science, I would say. And physics, quantum theory, and stuff like that is proving a lot of these ideas of energy work, energy healing.
Exactly.
But I want to hear if somebody came up to you and you had to tell them, oh, I do energy healing, and their eyes glaze over, like, what's that, right?
Exactly.
And they have a lot of assumptions maybe about what that is or what that means and that type of thing. So from your point of view, tell us, what is energy healing and the work that you do?
Okay, so energy healing, it's opening yourself up, literally opening yourself up, letting the universal energy flow through you. So you're just a conduit. And when you learn, that's when you're attuned to a Reiki master, that's what they teach us. And that's the best way to understand it, because it comes down through your body, through your head, through your hands. And it's that simple. And
okay, I got to back you up.
Sure.
Because to me, you're talking my language. So I'm like, yeah, okay. But I know if one of my relatives on the East Coast or something like that, it would be very different.
Sure.
Okay, so you said that there's an opening up to universal energy, I think is what you said,
Yes.
something like that?
Yes.
Well, what the hell is universal energy?
Sure. Okay, so let me back up. Okay, so universal energy, think of it as some people say source, God. It's connecting to what is bigger than us, the universe.
So do you have to be religious to connect to that energy?
It's non-denominational.
Okay.
So that's the beautiful thing about it. And that's, I think, sometimes where people get tripped up because they think it has something to do with religion, and it does not.
Right, it has nothing to do with religion.
No, and if anything, it has to do with our planet and being connected to Earth and what that means and the universe. And when you look at it that way, it makes it a lot less. People get so confused with religions and different backgrounds. And if you look at it that way, you can understand it's more about nature and just based on heart energy, and coming from a place of love. And that's where healing occurs.
Right. So it's a tangible energy that we feel, but it's not something we can necessarily see. We can see the outcome of it. Like I know when I open up to what you called universal energy, right? I see myself relax, but it's a result of that experience of opening up and letting go. Some people might just call it relaxation.
Sure.
Some people might call it a download. You know, they got this download of this angelic energy, which is funny language, but it makes sense because they,
Yes.
like you're downloading a program, you're putting something into the computer. They feel like they're opening up to receive something from the universe, from Mother Nature. You could put it that way. It's
Exactly.
the energy of life.
It is. It's the energy of life. And you think about the story of Buddha, perhaps.
Okay.
When I was little, I used to see, these pictures of Buddha sitting under a tree, and I'm like, what does that mean? And then as I started learning energy healing, I was like, oh, now I understand. He was connecting. He was connecting to the planet,
Right.
connecting to source.
Right.
And then, because of that, attaining a place of self-mastery and healing.
Right. And in a different language, like I don't consider myself Christian, but in the Christian understanding, I believe opening up to universal energy would be something like the Holy Spirit.
Correct.
Opening up to the energy of life, of the universe, of that energy that animates the spirit, that type of thing.
People see the Christ light, Jesus,
There you go.
because
Great.
he came to this planet and, showed just like Buddha.
And so you do a particular type of work that's about helping, assisting people. It's not doing it for them, right?
It's assisting people.
It's assisting people
Correct.
to bring in that energy. That's correct. That's what.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is. I like to look at any healing modality it's a way to unblock blockages and assist people and empower them to heal themselves. So I love talking people through the sessions, telling them where their blockages are, and then we talk through it, we clear them, and then they feel so empowered because they know now what they can do to feel better.
Right.
To work through when they start to feel that symptom again.
Exactly. I know there's a trend finally in pharmaceutical medicine, right? Where they're actually trying to do things and create pharmaceuticals that actually start the body's natural healing processes. So when somebody is ill, there's a whole thing in with diabetes, right? Instead of giving people insulin now, they're trying to develop medications that actually get the body to produce its own insulin again.
Okay.
Right. So that's an interesting trend, right? Instead of just dumping insulin in people and just ignoring the part that's in a quote unquote broken, right? What about actually seeing if they could jumpstart that part like a battery, right? Like get it to start working again. And so that's a trend in modern pharmaceutical, right? And it's interesting because that's something that the holistic, alternative, integrative world has been doing from the beginning. That's always been the approach, right? The approach to come in and...
Exactly. Allowing our body to do its job, because our body actually is an amazing,
Right.
has its own capabilities of healing itself.
Right. You, when I worked with Christina, she had me, I thought it was so interesting because I'd never seen this before. And she's going to take us through the process that she does. But she had me actually pull a card.
Yes.
For those of you who don't understand that, she has a deck of cards with just lots of very touching inspirations on them, like with just phrases and quotes and stuff like that. And I picked a card. She had me pick a few cards, and I had picked a card. I'm going through my phone right now to try and find that card if I can. Where'd it go? Oh, wait, there it is. And one of the cards was, I love the innate intelligence of my body.
Oh, wow.
I love the innate intelligence of my body. And that was really impactful for me because I've been working on getting my body to feel better, right? And to have that card come through just randomly, quote unquote, right?
Yes, law of attraction.
Law of attraction, right? So I trust the innate ability of my body to heal. That's pretty amazing.
That is powerful.
Yeah, and that's actually what you do. That's how it
Yes.
sort of sums it up.
Yeah, that's wow, that's really exciting. Yes. So, and with this device, so it's called the Nessor, and what you do
Can you
is
spell that? Because I had no idea what you were saying.
oh yeah, it can be hard. Okay, so it's Nessor. And this device, what it does is you can put either your right foot or your left foot on it, and
Not one or not both at the same
not
time?
both at the same time, just either or.
Would that give you like this like juju kind of like whoa?
I know.
type of thing?
Well, I can say if you're really hypersensitive, you will feel a little something because I did.
Oh,
But
you put both feet on it?
I only put one foot, but I
Okay.
have to say, my first time trying it,
Yeah.
it was just amazing. I felt this little sensation, but I feel energy, so I just loved it. It made me
Yeah.
feel great.
You know
But
what? Can I just stop you right there?
Sure.
You said you feel energy. Mm-hmm. Okay. this has been a thing for me. I know when I'm receiving, I know I get it, right? But people say, oh my God, you feel that. And because I've been in this world for so long, they're like, oh, here, grab this stone, this crystal, this device. You're going to feel so much energy. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm holding a rock. That's awesome. I understand that it's a
Sure.
conduit. I understand that,
Yes.
quartz have energy. We run our watches off quartz and stones and crystals.
Yeah.
Absolutely, there is energy. Scientifically, there is energy. Get it?
Yes.
Okay. But people say, did you feel that? And sometimes I actually do. Sometimes something happens and I'm like, oh, I feel like that pain that was in my neck is no longer there.
Which is nice.
But I don't necessarily feel the energy. I feel the pain not being there.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So, there will be times where I'll feel energy and it'll be something like I'll be meditating and I'll get this little jolts, this wave of energy that will just come through my body. It
Like a
starts
blissful.
yeah, it's literally like a wave. That's what it feels like,
that's
right?
always
Starting
nice.
in my lower
Yes.
chakra and moving sort of up my body. And as a wave, it just feels like a breath. It feels like my whole body is breathing and exhaling,
Which is so lovely when that occurs.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. So that's how I understand. Oh, did you feel that?
Okay.
Like, there's that energy. Oh my God,
Sure.
you feel that? And we, as these holistic sort of minded people, are running around doing that. And I think we alienate a lot of the rest of the world because most of the world's like, no. In fact, I don't know what you're talking
Which
about.
is a nice
right?
reminder because ever since I was small, I'd forget that.
Right. Did you feel that? Feel what?
Or did you see, see something or feel something? And
Right.
yeah, you just think it's common sense. So,
And it's common to you.
Yes.
But we all understand the world through our senses. And if that
Exactly.
sense isn't developed or just isn't their primary, they're gonna
to be.
have a different way of understanding.
correct.
So when
Yes.
you say you felt that energy, what does that mean for you?
Okay, so what that means is I actually feel a tingling, and it went up to my knee. And the tingling, when it occurred, I actually felt super relaxed. It took me to this whole nother level. And for me, the experience was so amazing because it made me feel like I was 5 again. So, and I was very happy when I was 5. So,
Okay, good.
So yeah, because I guess it could depend, But yeah, it just took me back to this beautiful state of anything's possible.
Got it.
And pure joy.
So when you quote unquote feel energy, for you, when you connect with that source energy, universal energy, it's a knowing in your body that is this
Correct.
tingling feeling that reminds you of being joyous and an understanding of when you were 5.
With this machine, that's what
With
that.
this machine,
With
awesome.
this machine, that's what it brought. But
That-
energy does feel for me like a tingling, like a pins and needles.
Got it.
And maybe some heat.
Because
Sometimes too.
quite frankly, I was sitting on there and people, because of the work I do, because of the show I have, and because of my own practice and stuff, people come up to me and say, oh my God, you feel that? And they're so excited. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to just act like I felt something.
understand.
Yeah.
I
I felt
understand.
relaxed.
Yes.
I felt very inspired by the cards, but I didn't feel anything as far as I was, there's this idea that something's going to happen to you,
Sure.
and it's subtle energy.
It is. It's very
Right?
subtle, and I do tell people it's not good or bad if you feel it or you don't feel it. It's just everybody's different.
But in a way that's setting people up
Okay.
because you're saying, did you feel that? And if they're like, feel what? I feel like I took a nice breath. I relaxed. But to us, that might be, oh, well, that's it. That's what I'm asking you to feel.
Yes.
But they don't. So it's like, oh, can you taste that right now? Can you taste it? You can taste it, right? Can you feel? Because there's great energy in this
Like
room
the
right now.
Emperor's New Clothes.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, there's great energy in this room right now, isn't there? There's a high vibration
There
here with us,
actually
right?
is.
It's a very good, we're here, we can feel, hopefully you guys can connect with it while you're listening in, but there's this wonderful, uplifting, fun energy that's in the space right now
Yes.
that I feel and you feel.
I definitely
Okay, great.
feel, yes.
And I feel it because it's a lightness that comes in, right? My
Yes.
heart opens, I feel lighter.
Yes.
I feel fun, I'm a little silly, that
Yes.
type of stuff. So that's how I feel energy. Okay.
Got it.
But if you were to go into the room and say to somebody like right now, like, hey, can you taste that? You can taste that, right? Oh my God, wasn't it awesome?
That's a
Wow,
great
and I
way.
could taste it. I could taste it so good. Oh my God, it tastes so good to me. Wow. And the other person's looking at you, or like I do. I look at you like, yeah, there's nothing in my mouth. There's nothing to taste. I don't know what you're talking about. This is great. Right? Are we eating something? Did I miss something? Where is it? I'm hungry. Right? And that's the thought pattern in my head. Did you feel that?
It makes perfect sense. I definitely have had friends or been at crystal shows where they're like, "Do you feel the energy off this rock?" And and there were times that I didn't.
Right.
So I understand, and you're just like, "Oh,
There's
So-
something wrong with me.
Yeah,
I'm
what's
like,
wrong
oh,
with
no.
me? How come I
So
don't get this?
that's why, because in our world, we are so tuned in with what this means and the energy and the understanding of it and all that type of stuff. But I think outside people are looking at it going, it's a rock.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, okay, I could feel the rock. It's cool. Right? It's interesting. It has a temperature of it that's cool. It's this big, it's heavy. Right? Okay, great. Yeah, I can feel that. Am I supposed to feel something else? Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And when I did begin to start feeling things with stones, then I was like,
Oh,
but
yeah, I get it now.
But now I do respect what you're
Sure.
saying. Not everyone feels it the same way.
Right. And so that's what I want my listeners to understand from somebody who is in your position, who works on this and that type of stuff, to sort of be able to back up and share that information and do that type of thing and say, hey, when we ask you, did you feel something? You may feel something, you may not. It may be something that you're not expecting. It just may be sense that you took a breath and your body relaxed. And that's tuning into universal energy, isn't it?
And it's a start. It's great.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me kind of get that out there because I've never really had the opportunity to
Sure.
really share that and
Yeah.
be. And because I think, and there's a way that I think we alienate people sometimes
Without meaning to. of
without meaning to
course.
at all.
Yeah.
When
without
we
meaning to.
want them to have these
Experiences.
exactly. So anyway, you're fun to banter with. So we're going to be right back. Stay tuned. We're going to take a quick little break, and I'm going to serve some of our detox tea to my beautiful guest, which you can always check at convergencehealingteas.com. Take a look. Get us just there we go. I'm going to shut up right now. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. If you're interested, check out convergencehealingteas.com. You can try all of these yummy, delicious teas that are actually crafted in my home kitchen to help you feel better. We have a Sleep Well blend, a No More Anxiety blend, and all of those ingredients in there are designed to help you feel better through the traditional qualities that Mother Nature has to offer. Check it out. All right, and welcome back. Hi, everybody. This is turning out to be one of my favorite episodes.
I like
yeah,
that.
well, because there's so much. I don't know. There's the whole idea of connecting with people and bringing what we do to people who may not be familiar with this type of thing.
Yes.
It's so important. It's
Yes.
so important. People need to know that they can heal and that they need to work on their healing, not just through drugs and surgery, but they need to work on it through their energy, through their thoughts and their mind and their spirit, right?
Agreed. And that's
Yeah.
literally how I came upon everything in my life as well.
Well, tell me about
Really.
that.
So, for the longest time, and then I'll get into the product, but for
Mm-hmm.
the longest time, my entire life, I always knew there was something else there and always noticed subtle things and didn't understand it. So I was always searching and lived in New York City or right outside New York City for many years and just started getting a lot of information coming to me, a little overwhelming.
What does that mean, getting a lot of information to it?
Information, starting to tap into a lot of intuitive messages.
Sort of knowledge, thoughts, the ideas, concepts that just popped into your head.
Exactly.
Got
And
it.
for me, a lot of times it's a dream state. I will get messages, I'll be shown things. And sometimes it was a little intense and was searching for answers. So I did a lot of studying and then eventually moved to LA. And that's when it just all came together. I learned
Right.
about so many beautiful things. I learned
That's
about
awesome.
Yogananda, and that opened up a whole nother door.
Now that's Padamahansa Yogananda of the
Yes.
Self-Realization Fellowship, for those who
Yes.
don't know. But
Yes,
yes,
exactly.
biography of a yogi. Got it.
Yeah, exactly. Because I never heard about him until I moved out here, also. But that was just another doorway opening for me to start learning that
Yeah.
all leads to one.
Yeah. I love when you said that you had dreams. Like
Yes.
You had knowledge that was coming in, ideas, thoughts, and stuff like that. And, you know, to a lot of people, that's woo-woo. But did you know, I believe this is true, but I read it before, that Thomas Edison used to put himself in a sleep state when he was stuck.
Wow.
And he would take a nap. He had a cot, I guess, in his workshop, and he would take a nap, and he would dream of the answer.
That is fabulous. I love
Now,
that.
isn't that neat? Because that's from using the language of the woo-woo community. That would be what people call a download, right?
It's a download.
But everybody else, I think, would say, oh, I had a problem, and I just relaxed and took a nap, and in my dream, I got an answer to the problem. Right?
Exactly.
But we in the woo-woo community call those downloads.
Exactly. And you know, and it's so funny you say all that, because my card that I had pulled was called one of the many. One was I Trust the Universe, which was just wow. And then one of them was I Can Be Trusted. And for the longest time, I had issues with that because of some of the woo-woo stuff that I would share with people. And they would roll their eyes.
Right.
And, you know, so that was very meaningful for me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, very
So it got you to
meaningful.
trust your own talents, intuitions.
Yes. And I mean, I don't want to get too heavy, but, you know, I had a lot of downloads about things that happened on 9/11 and was blessed that I moved exactly a year prior to that happening, but I knew something was coming. So for me, it was very emotional to get those downloads, and then that happened. But it just was another lesson to just continue to trust and understand that these messages, even if they appear scary, do not have to be. There's something for us to learn and share.
Right. And you were obviously being taken care of.
Taken
You were
care of.
divinely being taken care of. You were
Divinely.
removed from
Removed.
that
Exactly.
potential problem. Yeah.
Exactly. But
That's something to be grateful for.
100%.
Yeah. Scary, but okay.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think that's what it's all about, trusting, you know, because of working with the angel energy too, trusting, you know, those messages, those downloads, which, you know, sometimes people may say, oh, you know, it can be too much. But when you just kind of follow that intuitive feeling and just trust what you're being told, and almost like crumbs, just one little piece at a time, follow it. It usually will take you somewhere. Not usually, it does take you somewhere beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.
Now, speaking of that, you have these cool cards.
Yes,
So,
yes.
for those of you who obviously you can't see what we're doing, these cards, it's a deck of cards. One side just says sound vitality, and the other side is a really pretty graphic of some sort with a saying, a phrase, an inspiration, something like
Exactly,
that.
a
on it.
beautiful affirmation.
So, are you going to pick a card, or what do
let's-
we do with these?
Let's pick a card.
Okay.
Let's pick a card. Let's see what comes up for
All
us
right.
at this very moment.
All right, you're
in
shuffling
time.
the deck.
I'm
Okay,
shuffling the
cool,
deck
cool.
and trusting the law of attraction.
All right. And the
Okay.
law of attraction just simply is we're bringing that what you need to hear is going to come in.
Trusting. Once
trusting.
again, trusting the
Awesome.
universe once again.
Love it.
So this is awesome. Wherever I go and whatever I do, I am 100% safe.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Nice.
Yes.
That is very mystical. That's a very that's a thought in a lot of mystical practices, whether it's Buddhism or Christianity, mystical Christians or Kabbalah. There's a lot of that you as a soul, as a person, are 100% safe no matter where you are, no matter what perceived danger you think you're in.
Exactly.
That who you are is absolutely well taken care of.
And that is deep, and that actually kind of ties into everything we were just talking about, you know, about trusting when you're getting these messages. Know that you will be taken care of.
Now, would you call that a message? That would be like a download, a message, an inspiration, something.
I would.
Because
I
you
would.
shuffled the deck and you said, "Send me a message," basically, right? And so the universe said, "Pick this one."
Yeah, being guided to pull that at that moment. And that's what it's all about. It's not overthinking it. It's just kind of letting go.
Right.
And that's the lesson for a lot of people, because I think we get so analytical in this world. And when you can just kind of, you know, tune out as far as all that hectic stuff that's going on and just kind of connect to nature,
Yeah.
you just get these beautiful messages.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now I've seen sometimes where people that do cards and they do lots of different types, whether it's tarot or whatever it is, they ask you to have a question. Like they say, something like, what do you want answers to, or what do you need help with, or something like that. Do you do the same thing with these cards, or do you just randomly pull them?
You know what? You could do it either way.
Okay.
I mean, what I've chosen to do thus far working with this is just say, hey, let's just let go. Let's not think for this moment, and let's just randomly pull. Don't overthink it. And let's see what comes to us.
Great.
Comes to you.
Cool.
So that's how I do it. There are sessions you can have with if someone's really traumatized or has an event that happened and they really want to work on that.
Right.
Then we can say, okay, let's tune into that for
Right.
this session.
Right.
And then see what you pull for that.
Sort of a question like, what do I need? You could ask the deck, what do I need in order to continue my healing? Or something
Exactly.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Very cool. Now, how does this tie in? You know what? I want to pick a card.
I know. I think we should, I know. I'm
I
like,
got that little
I know.
pull.
I know. Because I was like, I want
wanna
to pull
do
for
it.
both of us, but I really feel like you need to pull one too.
All right. I'm just going to
Yay.
I'm going to open the deck, split it in half, and I'm going to take the top card. Oh, this is the same card. I pulled 3
Wow.
cards when I first met you. This is the exact same card. Whoa. Okay. I guess I
know.
really need to pay attention to this
Yes.
more, because I thought I was okay here, but apparently I'm getting I'm getting a message. Okay, so it's actually really cute. It's 2 fingers that are in like that. What do you do this like good luck, like cross your fingers type
cross
of
your
thing,
fingers.
right? But somebody drew on the fingers where it looks like 2 people hugging each other. So they drew little arms. Can you see that? Like
Yeah,
little
that's so cute.
arms
Oh, that's
wrapped around.
cute.
It's
I
really
didn't see
cute.
that.
Little faces and arms, like they're the fingers crossed are like people hugging one from the back. Okay, the card says, I forgive myself for all I have ever done to myself. Absolutely.
Wow.
I need to do a little meditation on that.
Wow.
I
Wow.
forgive myself for all I have done to myself.
Yeah, I have to say, one of the cards I had pulled last week, I literally could have just started bawling. I was like, it
Really?
was that profound for me.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's what's so healing about these. It's like just allowing it. It's like it's okay if that's what you need to do.
Right.
Just
Right. That's
let it go.
beautiful. It's awesome. Okay, so how do the cards fit in with this device? So there's this device sitting on the table that she brought. It's from, it's called a Nessor, and you said it was Nessor or something like that?
Correct.
And it's padded. It looks like something that you would just set your feet on, like a floor ottoman or a pillow. It looks just like a pillow, like a foam piece of a pillow. And it has 2 little nipples. There's
metal
these sort of
pieces.
these little round. It's a ring with a ball in the center of it. And now tell us what that's about. What that does.
Okay, so those are actually were the points. So either or. So you would put either your right foot or your left foot according to what we're going to work on for the session. So we don't want both feet on there like we were saying before, just one.
That makes me want to put both feet on there. When you say don't do that,
know,
I want to
right?
put both feet on there.
I know.
If it works for one, let's do both.
I know, like what would happen?
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah.
So
okay.
barefoot.
Yes, barefoot. Correct. Yes, thank you. Barefoot. And let's see. So we'll start with, say you do your right foot. So you want to make sure it goes on a point. It's right next to the ball of your foot. So underneath, there's a little point next to that when you put it on there, it connects to the kidney point.
Got it. So for people who don't understand that, there's different energy meridians that run through the body that actually there's a great study that just came out about this, about how now Western science is showing the acupuncture points.
Which is nice.
Yeah, it's really amazing that these points are energy sort of doorways that are run up and down the body that you can connect with the other parts of the body through that energy door.
And heal.
And do some healing, yeah.
Yes, open up.
Okay.
So what you do is, do I need to?
Nope,
yeah.
keep going.
Okay. All right. So what you do is when you put your foot on there, I actually turn on the device. And what the device does is it sends out a delta hertz, so frequency. And that frequency, what it's doing is for 5 minutes, it's actually opening up any blockages, because the kidney stores will. And if the will is blocked, the kidney holds on to fear and angst and all these emotions that, from trauma
Right.
or things that have happened in our life. So this delta wave actually opens that up. And when you say these beautiful affirmations that you pulled, or foundational truths, as they like to call with the system, it actually helps shift these frozen cells, shift what's going on, and actually imprint something positive.
Interesting. And you're imprinting through the thought by repeating that thought.
And the frequency.
And the frequency is helping put that in your body. So
Yes.
frequency is interesting because sound is vibration, and we can measure vibration, and our body is vibrating. I don't know if you knew that a body vibrates at 12 octaves above middle C.
That's
So all the
beautiful.
cells and the blood and the breath and all that type of stuff, there's a huge
Symphony.
symphony, yes, of sound, of vibration that's in the body.
Yes.
And so this is a frequency that's being put into the body, a delta wave frequency that's connecting with the body. It's kind of like a extension of acupuncture tools.
It is, and it's what's beautiful. It's because that is connecting with your unconscious. So it's helping you shift something so that when you are conscious now, you don't go back to that way of acting reactive
Right.
based on trauma. Now you can consciously make a choice because you've helped remove some of that trauma.
So it
traumatized
clears
cells.
out old energies and behaviors, and you're then imprinting in a way a
Beautiful,
new
new.
thought through the cards into the body.
And with
Fascinating.
this machine. And actually, there's other energy therapies that do that as well. Integrated energy therapy is a different version of
Right.
something like that. So there's all these beautiful ways to do these healings.
Super, super cool. Okay, well, I'm having so much fun with you.
Yes.
Thank you. This
It is
great.
fun.
Well, we have to take another break. We'll be right back. So my people, stay tuned. I'm enjoying this detox tea. It's a little strong.
Thank God I was sipping it.
Right? I'm brewing it and going, woo, this is good. So, we'll be right back. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're interested, check out convergencehealingteas.com. You can try all of these yummy, delicious teas that are actually crafted in my home kitchen to help you feel better. We have a Sleep Well blend, a No More Anxiety blend, and all of those ingredients in there are designed to help you feel better through the traditional qualities that Mother Nature has to offer. Check it out. All right. Well, hello. I'm sitting down with a beautiful Christina Lipinski, and we've been talking about energy and energy healing and pulling cards and this
Yeah.
really cool delta wave frequency product that she
Correct.
has with us
Yeah.
right now that's sitting right in front of me. I love it. I encouraging all of you to actually find your own healing, to go and explore other options that you have. The beautiful thing about work like this is that there is no ill effect. There's no bad side effect that you have to worry
Exactly.
about, like most surgeries or drugs or that type of thing. So if you're willing to open up to this energy of the universe and this energy of life, of healing, of chi, of what do the Japanese, I think, call it ka, the Indians call it kundalini, all that type of stuff, then I'm hoping that we're inspiring you to get out there and meet people like this beautiful Christina who can actually help open doors for you. Right? Like I said, we have to heal on all levels. We can't just, I give the example of my football player comes in and his knee is racked up, right? Broken
Yeah.
knee. And obviously the physical part that needs healing, right? But his brain, his head, his thinking, his mind is probably in an absolute panic. How am I going to pay for my family? I bought a house. What's going to happen with the season? Are we going to lose? Am I ever going to be able to play again? Right?
Yeah.
His mind is actually in turmoil, and I betcha his heart
Yeah.
is really suffering because he's probably been training for to play the game for the majority of his life, right? And there's that broken heart. Will I ever be able to play again? Right? And so that healing needs to come in on all levels. It's not just
does.
fixing the bone. It's
isn't.
fixing the mind and thinking, which is why I love these cards.
Yes.
Because it's about, getting interrupting those negative abusive thoughts.
Exactly.
And it's about
Self-focus.
the spirit energy level because this machine is bringing in those delta waves. And I love that it connects to the kidney. And I said the acupuncture thing before because in Chinese medicine, it's thought that anger, frustration, those types of emotions are stored, fear, are stored in the kidneys and the liver, whether you're conscious of it or not. that thing that you sort of set aside and, act like it doesn't exist anymore, that relationship that you had 20 years ago. and all of a sudden that person's name pops up and then, that anger comes right there, right? Well, that's the stuff that gets stored in your kidneys.
Yeah,
That's the idea.
The liver is so
The liver.
affected by anger. So that was a good point to bring that up.
Yeah.
And it's like just knowing that can be such a wow.
Yeah, and it's totally
Transformational
subconscious
thing.
because I'm sure there's something, we all have something that still pisses us off from the past,
And
right?
isn't that interesting? Because kidneys and things that piss you off.
Piss you off. No, you said something on our break. My executive producer came in and Christina said something about the first time she had
Yes.
used this, and you sort of
Yes.
said it earlier, but tell
I
us
did.
what that was.
Okay, so the first time I tried this machine, what I found so magical for me about it was that as soon as I was finished, because it can, for some sessions, some people, it can bring up, you might feel a little icky afterwards because it's bringing up things you need to process.
Sure, it's
And-
opening up all that stuff that was stuck in your kidneys, right, or your liver.
Exactly,
Yeah.
that we don't want to think about. So, we can have those sessions, but my particular session was so amazing because it took me right back to feeling how I did when I was 5 and just all that joy and happiness. And I actually had a spring in my step.
Nice. And for me, I found a lovely inspiration where my body kind of relaxed and my mind.
Nice.
It wasn't my body as much as it was my mind. Just kind of went, I want to think about those. Like the card that I read,
Yes,
right?
okay, good.
I want to think about that.
Yes.
So it challenged my thinking, and my thinking went to a place of, let me put my energy and my thought, my focus on those types of thoughts instead of the thoughts that I was having when I first came in. So
Sure.
that was my quote unquote energy shift.
Which is great. That still is so nice because I know I find that too. It's like anything. You just have, as soon as that happens, you just want to snap yourself.
Right.
Okay, that's nice. I had that thought, but let's think about something beautiful.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm bringing up the contrast of those things because I think people have that expectation
Yes.
of like what you had of, I had this great thing that came in and I felt this wonderful tingling and this amazing energy and it was so cool and it was like
Yeah.
I was 5 again and I had this lift in my step and
It's
that
like,
type of thing.
woo.
And I'm like, my thoughts calmed. That was my thing. I just felt more centered. That was awesome.
Yeah, and it's true. And I've worked with several people this week in particular, and there was one that was like, I don't feel so good, and I explained to them, you're releasing things, and
Right.
just the trust, and know that it's only going to last for a day or so.
Right.
It won't linger
Yeah.
because it's leaving the body.
Can I give you a phrase I use for that?
Sure.
I call it the healing hangover.
Yes, that's good.
Because and just take this idea of this product that you're using, right? That opens up the kidneys and the liver. It opens up the liver, right? So that all the
And the
crap
kidneys,
that's
yeah.
stored in the liver and the kidneys can be taken out.
Wherever it is, actually,
right?
yeah,
or
you're
wherever
correct.
it is.
You're
Okay.
correct. Wherever it is, it's going to be.
But that means
released.
there's something that was shoved down in there, it was stored in there, and it needs to come out. So the process of releasing that probably isn't going to feel very good,
That's right.
right? So
For the majority,
sometimes not.
yeah, exactly. It depends on what
Depends on the person.
is released.
And I think that's true in any practice, whether it's massage, you get a massage, right? You feel great after the massage, and the next day it's like, oh my God, well, all those chemicals that have just been pushed out of your body, out of your muscles, are now in your bloodstream,
Yes.
and they need to be flushed out of your bloodstream, right?
Yes, drinking
And
lots of water.
Drink lots of water. And so that doesn't necessarily feel very good while that stuff is coming out of you.
Yeah.
Right? Whether it's acupuncture, massage, chiropractor,
Even
whether it's
Reiki.
emotional
Yeah,
stuff,
that
Reiki,
happens.
absolutely. So for those who are listening, pay attention to the healing hangover. So just because you may not feel so great after, remember all that stuff that been shoved down is now coming out of your system. And feeling it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be fun.
That's right. And one thing I always share
Right.
with people, especially one of the particular people I worked with the other day, was, they were feeling things from their heart chakra. And I said, it's interesting. every time someone's heart chakra begins to open,
Yep.
a lot of times people want to run because it's painful. It could
Shove
be,
it down.
Yeah, it could physically
Yeah.
or even emotionally be painful. And I just explained, just trust that you will get through this, and it'll be so much better when you're on the other side of that healing.
Right.
You know, so
Right.
so try not to run and just be with it and allow it to process.
Right. And most people understand what a hangover is because that's what you have to do. You had a great night, right? You had a lot of fun. You felt woohoo,
That's right.
And the next day, you
Not so
got to get
much.
all that stuff that's in your body. You have to get it out of your body, right?
Yeah.
And that's not the most fun experience, right?
It is
Now,
not.
some people don't even have the healing hangover. They
Yeah.
they just have an experience. They release it. It just pumps right out of their body, and it's done. Other of us often, sort of get, oh God, I'm so swollen today, or whatever it is, right? That's me. Okay.
I've been through that too. So I mean,
It's like,
yeah, I'm like, what happened? I don't want to deal
Right.
with this process of
Right,
healing.
right. And the tendency is to shut it down. Say, oh my God, I don't ever want to do that again, right? I feel worse. Well, how long have you been storing onto that anger, that frustration? How long have you been
Yeah.
holding on to that anger or fear?
It's
Right.
Yeah, and I definitely have processed a lot of
Yeah.
feelings like that. So I
Yeah.
do truly understand.
It's time to just either let it out or you could save it for another day. That's what I say to my clients. You can let it out now, or you can, all right, you want to deal with it a year from now? All right. It's still making you sick.
I
It's
just
still inside there.
Agreed. That's what I was going to share. Yeah.
Right.
Otherwise, you don't want to physically start feeling it. It's better to just release it.
Exactly. The healing's work.
It definitely is.
It really is.
It is. It's definitely being mindful about just putting one foot in front of the other.
Right.
You know, I always share with people, just baby steps. It's okay.
Yeah, just breathe.
Yes.
Breathe it through. So that's awesome.
Yes.
So, Christina, any last thoughts? Like, what would, if you're somebody who maybe have never done this type of thing, who's really never experienced energy work, and they're saying, after hearing you, they're saying, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna give it a shot, right? You do something called Reiki,
Yes.
which Reiki, this machine that you have, this simple little machine, isn't very common. I'd never even seen it before until I met you, right?
Agreed. I haven't. It was very new to me too. You know,
Right.
coming into my consciousness. So I
Right.
love it.
So, what are some things that people can do that would help them feel better in this realm of energy healing?
Sure. Well, one simple thing that I love to share is the whole topic of grounding. And grounding might be like, okay, what is that? What does that mean? And it's as simple as literally walking outside in
Right.
your bare feet and putting your feet in the grass, in the dirt. If there's some moisture there, even better, because our bodies are all made of electricity, so to speak.
And moisture, water helps conduct electricity.
Exactly. And you'll feel so, I mean, there's been studies, it reduces inflammation. It does so many things to help us
Right.
that we just sometimes don't even realize.
Right.
It's just powerful. I mean, and if you don't even have somewhere to do that, a potted plant, having plants around you is so healing too.
Right. And I think it's in Japan, they're building urban forests, and you can't do anything but walk in
I
them.
saw that and I was like, wow.
Isn't that amazing?
it's
Because
so
the
powerful.
science is so powerful that they're investing millions of dollars to grow tiny forests in cities
So beautiful.
because it so affects our energy. Right?
Yes.
Isn't that amazing? So one of
They're
your
ahead of their
tips, not
time.
only just like walk in the grass, but actually be with nature.
That's right.
And that's something as simple as putting a plant on your desk.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Will make such a shift, such a difference.
Great.
Yes.
Okay, I want my executive producer to make sure she hears that. We need to get her a big palm or something.
I love it. Oh, that's great.
So what else do you have for
But
us?
okay, so when you ground yourself like that, what you're going to find is just doing that little bit on a daily basis, or even walking on the beach, being near the beach, the salt air, all of that. It's going to clear your energy field, and it's going to allow you to open up to receiving more of your intuitive messages. We all have them, but this way you'll actually begin to really sense them
Right.
and follow through.
Right.
And what that means for healing is that you can actually then follow those little leads. It could be something really simple, like you keep hearing, oh, it would be so nice to, get a certain tea or something that's going to make me feel better. But those intuitive messages are going to start coming through
Right.
like baby steps.
Right.
And when you follow those, you're going to find that you're going to start healing yourself by
yeah.
listening to those messages that are coming through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's that simple.
So I love your steps. I think that's so awesome. And it's so simple to do, like you said. Get out there, put your feet in the grass, right, or connect with the earth. If you live in the desert,
Yeah, whatever type
connect
of
with the earth.
Yeah, would
right?
be anything that's
Right.
nature.
Put yourself in
Animals.
nature, whether it's trees or forest or cactus groves. right?
Exactly.
It's all the energy that's all there.
It
And
is.
then the third one was
The
to
third one- the third
go to
one-
the ocean if you have a beach.
Well, go to the ocean,
Right.
and then lastly, what I would share is, just having gratitude at the end of every day. What is it that we're grateful
Right.
for? And when you go to sleep,
Right.
if there's anything that you'd like to learn in your sleep, asking for that.
Oh, I love that. That's a whole other thing I can get into for hours, but I'm not good. I'm resisting. We have to wrap up here, folks. So Christina, thank you so much. How could people find you and what you do?
Okay, so they can find me online at www.tofwb.net, which stands for Thousand Oaks Family Wellbeing.
Thousand Oaks Family Wellbeing. So just the first letter of each word.
Yes.
TOFWB.
.net. So on there you can find me. It'll talk about the Reiki that I do, and when it leads you there to the office, I also do this beautiful thing called the Nessor. So that's where you can find me.
Super.
Yes.
Super cool. Well, thank you so much for being my guest. I so loved having you, and I really
Aw,
appreciate the
thank
universe
you.
for bringing you in. So that is it. Thank you so much. Tune in again, and we'll be here next week. Make it a beautiful day.